Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook, and I'm here to review the latest episode of DC's Legends of Tomorrow entitled The X Factor. Now, there's not a lot to this show that's worthy of talking about from week to week, and because of that, I'm not sure I'll even continue doing reviews of these episodes. I just watch the show because it's a lot of fun because they do crazy stuff, and I like the Sarah Lance character. I like Katie Lotz as an actress. So I watched the show. The guy that plays Mick Rory is leaving. He's one of the big reasons that I like the show. So even once he's gone, I'm going to continue watching it because I like, as I said, Katie Lotz, and I like what they do with the Constantine character. My wife likes what they do with Constantine. But I'm not sure I'll continue reviewing these episodes because there's not a lot to talk about other than a couple of the goofy moments that happen. So this episode centers around the crew still trying to find Sarah, who is crashed on an alien planet with Gary. And this week they figure that they're going to do that by going into the future to extract information from what appears to be a robotic alien guy who wants to conquer the Earth, and who gets it in his head that the way he does this is by challenging like the world's biggest rap star who goes by the name The King, because he thinks he's the king of the planet. So I don't know. You don't really know that in the very, very beginning. So my first note for the episode was, who is this alien bot? Anyway, after he shows up and misunderstands something he sees on a newsstand and gets the idea that this rapper is the king of Earth, we go to Constantine's house where there's some kind of party going on, at least between himself and Z. And they're kind of sitting on the couch getting romantic with music playing, and they keep trying to get it together to have a romantic interlude, and different things keep coming up in conversation. They keep sort of starting and stopping, but then they definitely get interrupted by one of Zari's friends who calls her to tell her that her ex has just been murdered by the robot guy, and her ex being the rap star guy. And so Constantine pretty much gets blocked here, but there you go. Now, the team gets together and figures out that this robot can help them find Sarah. I'm not really sure how they came to that conclusion, but in order to do that, they have to go to 2045 and the X Factor type show that the robot went to kill the king of rap or whatever it was, but of course they go before that. So that's basically the plot of this week's episode. And we also did get to see Sarah on the alien planet, still lost, still trying to get off of there. And we get to see her in action at least, which is good. Because, you know, on Supergirl, we didn't get to see much with Supergirl while she was lost in the Phantom Zone. She didn't really do anything because she didn't have her powers, and Sarah doesn't have powers, she just has ability, and so we get to see her use those, and it was pretty cool. When the crew originally arrives in 2045, through some dialogue, we learned that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is president of the United States, which is kind of funny. But as they run into the robot alien guy, it becomes pretty clear that he's hell-bent on dominating the planet. And through the whole episode, he just was giving me a very Dalek type vibe. You know, the Daleks from Doctor Who. That's just the vibe I got from this character. As the episode goes on, different things happen. One of them is that Zori, who, don't forget, in the future, in this other timeline, is sort of a superstar, like an influencer. So she competes on the show and sings a number, and she looked really great in the dress, and she sang well too. So that was cool to see. And again, would be one of the reasons that I watch these episodes, to see something like that. We go back to the planet, and for some reason there are Ava clones there. Now we know that Ava herself is a clone, and that there were other clones that looked the same on her planet or whatever, or I guess which was Earth, but I don't remember the backstory. But these Ava clones are also on the planet, and then Gary ends up impersonating one. It was very strange. I didn't really know why they did that. But back to the competition, the people in charge of it, along with the help of Zori's brother, get it in their head that John should go on stage and compete in the show as well, Constantine. And they're kind of like sizing him up and, oh, your hair is great, but we can do this with it. And your outfit is great, but we could tweak it a little bit. And I'm like, what are they going to do with John? And then, oh, they're going to do that. Well, goodness. It was definitely a Captain Guyliner moment. And I have to say, he looked good. He looked good. And there you go. So that was it. And my wife liked it as well. So, you know, it was good. But he overhears, just before this, he overhears Zori say to someone that he is just a fling that she's having. And he doesn't like that very much. He then sort of confronts her over it, and they basically break up, it seemed to me. So I was like, oh, they didn't last long, which is unfortunate. But then we go back to the planet, and there's a girl fight between Sarah and one of the Ava clones because the clone is trying to do something. I didn't know, but it was a girl fight, so that was interesting. And she says something about, you're not my Ava, whatever. But Mick arrives on the scene with the Wave Rider and the alien girl from the last couple weeks they picked up, the girl who contact aliens. And he kind of goes in guns blazing to like fix the situation. And Ava's like, no, you can't really do it that way. And she confronts him, and they talk about how, yes, they both miss Sarah, and he has to stop being a douche about it. So the competition continues, and somehow it turns out the robot guy can actually sing. And it was kind of insane. So he performs, and it's just so ridiculous. The whole thing is absurd. But anyway, he sings pretty well. John apologizes to Zori, and she kind of shrugs him off. And then she goes out and sings a song by the Buzzcocks, a cappella. But shortly after she begins, John comes in playing the guitar. It was really cool, and he was in his vamped up outfit, and it was pretty good. He can't sing for shit, though, but she can sing. And apparently he can play the guitar, or at least pretend to very well, but he can't sing. So after a very close vote, the robot loses the competition and has to submit, I guess, to the will of Zari and John and Team Legends, and all's well that ends well. And I guess they have another clue as to how they're going to try to find Sarah. I don't know. But Zori and John make up and decide they're going to go steady, as it were, and give it a shot, even though they were both afraid to join a committed relationship. And that's pretty cool, too. We're going to see where that goes. And it turns out, friends, that the robot actually is pretty much a Dalek. Not actually a Dalek, but it's a little tiny alien in a mecha suit, which is just what Daleks are, which is what I said at the beginning. He was giving me a Dalek vibe. So there you go. He comes out of the suit, and he's walking on the floor of the Wave Rider, and he seems about to introduce himself and explain why he's been such a knucklehead. And Mick walks in and steps on and squishes him, which is not good at all for that guy. So there you have it. And we're on to next week. And Sarah is still on the planet, and I don't like it. But at least we get to see her do stuff. You know, like have a girl fight and stuff. And I guess Kara kind of did with Mixie, but not really. I don't know. I guess she did. I guess I'm not being fair, but what else is new? Anyway, that's my review of the latest episode of DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Maybe I'll review next week. I don't know. It seems kind of silly to just sit here and talk about the goofy stuff that happens because it's not consequential. Maybe once they find Sarah. I don't know. Anyway, that's all. I'm out of here for now. Until I return, peace and long life.